I think at this stage, it's going to be important to ask Joe to tell us, to give us some examples of OT attacks or OT incidents that they probably have heard about, or that you consider to be incidents that they may think of differently.
Well, let me start off by explaining what I consider to be a cyber incident, because there's a lot of misconception about what's going on. In the IT world, the de facto definition is you're connected to the internet, you're running Windows, and somebody is trying to intentionally steal or manipulate your data. And it's just de facto, it's malicious. And in the IT world, you also have all kinds of forensics there to be able to detect, may not be right away, but to detect the fact that it's a cyber event. I use one of NIST's, National Institute of Standard and Technology's, definitions. They've got a bunch, but there's one that I use particularly. And that is electronic communication between systems or people in systems that affects confidentiality, integrity, or availability. The key to this definition is the word malicious is never used. As an engineer, I don't care if I know it's malicious or not. If there's electronic communications involved, and it doesn't even need to be a classical network per se. The reason I titled my book the way I titled it, Protecting Industrial Control Systems from Electronic Threats, you'll notice it didn't say hacking, it said electronic threats, is I have a number of cases where electromagnetic interference or radio frequency interference has taken out SCADA systems or blown up equipment. It doesn't have to be, quote unquote, the 12-year-old pimply-faced hacker, typing on a keyboard trying to do something on Windows. So where I'm coming from is, if you think about Stuxnet for a minute, people will automatically say, yes, that was a cyber attack.
We're talking about
that was
U.S.-Israeli attack on centrifuges in...
Yeah, whoever it was, but it was...
Allegedly.
It was the
Allegedly.
cyber attack on the centrifuges in Iran at the Natanz centrifuge facility. The point being, that was in the 2009-10 timeframe. It was not detected as cyber until July 2010.
Yep.
For a year, those centrifuges were tearing themselves apart and everybody could hear them. They were screaming. But until that laptop was sent to Belarus, nobody had a clue it was cyber. They just assumed it was a systemic design flaw in the centrifuges. A sophisticated hacker or attacker is going to make a cyber attack look like an equipment malfunction. In the control system world, we generally don't have the right cyber forensics, except at, if you will, the internet protocol layer. So a lot of what you're talking about, there isn't forensics. In the control system world, if something happens, you can't hide it. A train crashes, a pipe breaks, the lights go out. You can't hide it. What you can either hide or not know is if cyber played a role. That's where it gets very different than IT, where again, it may take a while to find out. You think about SolarWinds, it took a year, whatever. But when you saw it, you knew it was cyber. In much of what I have, there is not the classical, quote unquote, network indications that it was cyber.